Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arcana Homesteading. We're your hosts, Sherry
and Shauna.
And today we are talking fruit trees.
See, I told you we were going to do it. And you're like, that sounds boring. And it's going to be great.
What sounds boring?
Fruit trees.
It still sounds boring. Just because we're doing it doesn't mean it's not going to be boring.
No, it's going to be... it's useful information that
it's fine. Leave it to me. I'll make inappropriate comments. It'll be great.
Leave it to me. Oh, did you want to hold that?
Yeah.
We made notes because... Well, I made notes because I was feeling
responsible. And then
responsible.
she sent them to me. Yeah. Yeah, look at you.
Look at you. I'm going to make notes because I'm going to be talking about something and be like, And I wanted to look like we're professionals.
Professionals.
I'm a professional.
That's right. Whenever I have that song in my head.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Whenever I'm like, I'm professional, I'm like I sing that song.
I'm a professional.
That's
and you feel like you should have heels on.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. You know, like dance into the house.
I was River. Okay, so Honest was cleaning out like one of our closets upstairs, you know?
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah. And he found like a bunch of like my old heels that I wore before I had children.
Oh, yeah,
I kept them all because I was
Which
like,
is super weird that you kept them.
Yeah. And River's like,
my God. I did that. Kept those.
And River's
hoarded
like, oh
them
my
like
God,
a little crazy person.
These are so cute.
Yeah.
And she brought some of and they're like the black stiletto ones. They're one of my favorite pair. I was like, you have a good eye because that's like literally my favorite pair of shoes. But they're super fucking high. And so she was like, how did you walk in these? Because she's trying them on and trying to walk. And I was like, you're going to break an ankle. And I was like, here, let me show you. She's like, you still know how to walk in these? I was like, of course I do. I like put them on and I was like doing that. Like, I'm a professional, like strutting around the house. And she was like, oh my God, Mom. Oh my God. She was like so amazed with me. I felt so cool. I was like, I'm killing something. I don't know.
Your kids have a tendency to be able to do that, though. They make you feel just so good about yourself.
I know.
Other days, they make you feel really bad about yourself.
That's true.
You know? It's like...
That's true.
Yeah.
But, like, she was, like, making me feel like I was, like, in my 20s again, like, strutting my stuff. And she was like...
What else were you wearing with these heels? Just so I can get the full picture in my head.
Pajama pants?
Yeah, that's what I thought. She's like, amazed.
My
You
robe.
look fucking hot, okay?
She was like, your legs look great. And I was like, you can see them?
I'm wearing pajama pants. That's so funny.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, maybe I should wear these more often. But even like...
Just around your house, just for your daughter.
So like, because she was making me feel so amazing, I couldn't tell her like, this is kind of hard. You know, I haven't worn these in a while. So I was really trying, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
I was going to say, no,
I was like really
no
trying not to kill myself and still look amazing. I pulled it off. She had no idea. And she was like, still like, I was like up on a pedestal, like, oh. So, you know, we're going to leave it at that, Sherry.
Yeah. I like that.
Being super cool for walking in heels.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Bask in it, Shauna.
Yeah,
bask in it.
I was. But, yeah.
That's cute.
So back to fruit trees.
Yeah. Our segues are amazing, by the way. We're just like...
Why?
Heels, then fruit trees. We're going to talk about other things too, I'm sure. Then right back to fruit trees.
Yeah, that was like on our last episode. And I was like, back to whatever.
Yeah.
Like we kind of suck at going what is it? Seamless.
Yeah.
Seamless.
I don't know. I think it like takes effort and a script. I mean, how would you seamlessly segue back into fruit trees after talking about high heels? I mean, I could probably figure something out, but it'd take me a little bit. What's the point of that?
Yeah, it's
time wasted.
Yeah, time wasted. So we're just gonna say back to fruit trees,
and they're fine.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about fruit trees today, and we're gonna give you guys some. Okay, so some fruit trees take a lot of care, and some take
intermittent care.
Yeah. And then some are like, you know, you plant them and you like fucking water them and then they're like good to go.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you some ideas on what you should plant if you're a beginner fruit treer, or even if you're not and you're a
fruit treer.
Fruit treer. I made up words. And
I like it.
And you can go from there. So
yeah.
I have some of these planted that I'm going to talk about. Sherry has some planted that she can talk about. Yeah. We're going to talk about it.
And here we go.
Okay, so the first one is pear trees. So if you don't have pear trees, like obviously they do like zones, and their zones are pretty crazy. It's like 3 to 8,
yeah, which is huge.
We're in zone like 9 technically. So like, and I have 3 pear trees, and they always do great. They are probably the easiest to care for. If I don't prune them, they don't care. If I don't fertilize them, they don't care. They just don't care. Like even they don't,
as long as they have sun.
Yeah, they like sun. But like, and you can even, there's different varieties of pears. It's like a lot of, like the Bartlett pear is really popular, but the Asian pears, which everybody loves, it's kind of like in between a pear and an apple.
Yeah, it's like more crisp.
Yeah, it is very crisp.
Yeah.
I need to plant some Asian pears. We only have,
I know, I do love me some Asian pears.
They're
my
super
kids love
easy.
them.
I know, mine too. I was like, why don't I have those?
I
Like, I just
know.
like, it
I
literally
should.
just went into my head though right now. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean,
What's happening?
now, okay, so these pear tree is not small.
That's true. They get
So
big.
like you need to always remember that you need to plant them and allow them to have space. Their roots are as long as, their top branches, that, the longest branches. So
they can get very big.
give them lots of space so that they're not crowding out other trees. They're not being crowded out. They're not going to, supply shade to something that you don't want shade on. So all that to think about, right? Like you need an open space more or less.
We get, like I said, our pear trees, they're not huge yet. They're taller than me, but they're not anything crazy. And they still just like produce so much fruit every year to where I'm like, here, chickens have a pear, we just can't eat them.
Yeah, that's great though. I love to have like an overabundance to where you're just like,
I
here you
always
go.
tell myself I'm going to be like, I'm going to can pears.
Yeah,
I'm going to do this. And then-
Dehydrate them.
I know, dehydrate them.
Yeah.
And what was I just thinking? Oh, making the poached pears.
So good. Stop.
They're so good.
And if you could like wrap them in something, a delicious pastry,
like
caramel.
Yes.
What?
I want that now.
Now, give it to me. Someone make it. That sounds so
not
good right
pear
now.
season.
I know. It's unfortunate.
Anyway, so if you're just starting off, or even if you aren't and you want an easy tree where you can just plant it and let it do its thing, so the rule of thumb for any trees that you get, once you plant them, they really need the regular water within that first year of planting. And then
Right.
depending on the tree, you can they're either drought tolerant, and once they grow their roots, they'll just fucking, live their best life, or they'll still need the regular watering, depending on which fruit tree you get. So when you're going to get your fruit trees, there's always like a little tag attached to the bottom, usually if you get them at like a nursery, right? If you're getting them from somebody, they're not going to have all the information, but they're going to tell you on that tag, like if they need another tree for cross-pollination, if they
yes, and that's a good one.
Yeah, because if you just have the one
your
tree,
one tree, and you're like, where's all the fruit? And they're like, I need a buddy.
Yeah,
I need a buddy.
Yeah, some need buddies and
Yeah.
some don't. It's going to tell you if it needs a certain amount of cold hours, and your cold hours. So like for your apple trees, it's basically when they're dormant in the winter, they need a certain amount of hours where it gets like, I forget I should have wrote that down. Damn it. Where it gets to a certain temperature. It needs to be fucking cold.
A certain cold temperature.
Or they're not going to produce fruit.
Yeah, when it's
So-
time to produce fruit.
That's why you see apples usually a little higher up in elevation.
Yes.
Like it's called Apple Hill near us.
Yeah.
And it's where all the apples are grown because it gets fucking cold in the winter without, it always will be,
Right.
So, so look at that tag, make sure it'll even tell you which, like if you're getting a cherry tree, like what other cherry tree you can get for cross-pollination. Okay, but it will tell you on that tag, or you can ask like one of the staff members or whatever. Usually they're really
Or Google
helpful.
it. If
Or
you're just getting
fucking
random
Google it.
trees from random people off of Facebook Marketplace, that kind of thing. Yeah, Google is your friend.
That's true. But don't just get a tree and be like all is well, unless it's like a tree that doesn't need to cross-pollinate.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah, and the pear trees, they really tolerate a lot of different soil types. They really, like I said, they don't care much about anything. They're such an easy tree to have if you are in those zones. And even if you're in a little
That's
bit,
a really varied zone, like 3 to, it says 3 to 8, but 3 to 9 basically, because we're
9.
technically zone 9. And so, and they do fine.
They do great.
Yeah. So it's like 3 to 9. That's a huge varied zone. So any of those zones, you're good. Like if you're like just getting into trees, like probably the pear would be the way to go. They're just so easy and very forgiving for like if they do have any like fuck ups, basically,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're pretty, like they do have their diseases and the bugs that will attack them, but they're pretty
Resistant.
hardy.
Yeah, exactly. Ow, my
So
thumb
you can do the
hurts.
next one since you have Lemon juice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So lemon, other citrus, that also does really well for us. We have a little dwarf like clementine tree. We have 2 limes and 1 lemon, and they do really well here. I'm pretty sure they're all dwarfs actually. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Which is cool because the dwarfs you can even keep in pots indoors if you are in colder climates.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about, like, oh, I really want a lemon tree. You can still have that. Like where we're at, I've planted a lemon tree a couple times.
Yeah.
And both times they didn't do well. It just got too cold because
You're a bit colder than like when it says like we're gonna get snow, like you get snow, but we'll get like some snow, but there's nothing. It doesn't stick or anything.
Yeah,
so
and then
we're not as cold.
Yeah, we're a little bit higher in elevation.
Exactly.
And so I'm assuming that's all it is.
That's all it is, probably.
I do plan to do, when we do make our like in-ground greenhouse, I plan to do dwarf citrus inside the greenhouse that will just live
there
in
you
big
go.
pots.
There you go.
But until then, I think I could do it against the house. It stays a little bit warmer,
Yeah, you probably could.
I could probably do something there. I just think like out in like.
There's just open to too many elements. You know what I mean? Like just the freezing cold and wind, blah blah blah.
And it might have just been coincidence too. Like I feel like every time I did plant them, it would like be a really cold spring or a really cold winter. It's like it was never maybe.
Well, I feel like that's going to be the norm though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so. Unfortunately.
Indoor only for me, but that's fine.
Or greenhouse, yeah. But they do really well here, and again, pretty forgiving. My husband's kind of like our tree guy, and he like does the trees
pruning.
And I don't know if he prunes. Apparently, he does because they're all doing great. Like he spends a lot of time with them. He has we have fencing around him because we have alpacas that free range, and so and again, the dwarfs are really awesome because we can build a fence that's only so high and the alpacas still can't get to him. Whereas if it was a regular sized tree, our fencing would have to be like a lot taller for a while. So obnoxious. So yeah, so we prefer the dwarf varieties, and they give lots of fruit. Lots of lemons, lots of limes.
I love the huge lemon trees though.
I know, those are so pretty. But again, it's space. So we don't have, we have so many freaking oak trees everywhere. We don't have a ton of space.
Open space.
Like there's a tree everywhere. Like the only open spaces I can think of is like in front of mom and dad's place right out here. But no one's gonna want a tree out there. Like that's where we do things. You don't want a tree in the middle, right? Like there's reasons for it not to be there. And then by the chicken coop, but we have that huge digger pine over there. So like once that comes down, maybe.
Yeah, and that looks like it could come down whenever. Now.
Yeah, exactly. Juan's talking about
That'd
just cutting it.
That'd be cool to take out that chicken coop there and do like a little mini orchard up there.
I know.
That corner.
And I want to put the chicken coop where the bunny shed is.
Yes.
But like kind of right next to the bunny shed, put like a huge chicken coop.
And that like literally
because it's a big open space over there.
So the
There's
chicken
nothing.
coop was there like when we moved in when we were little.
Well, no, it wasn't there. It was back down there, and we drug it over there. Remember?
No, I don't remember that. I thought it was always over there.
It used to be at the pool. There was a shed where the pool is. Remember? Yeah, you should remember. You found a goose with its head stuck in the fence. Wasn't that traumatizing? No, blocked it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's all. Yeah. Yeah, so we drug it over there, and it's way past time for a new chicken coop. But you know how it goes. There's always like some shit to, like.
I'm like feeling that so much lately, and I'm trying to like really like silver linings and whatever.
There's only so many. I can always remember silver linings, but when it comes down to it, like Juan got laid off from his job, and he wasn't working before that, right? They're like, we're not working. We're so behind on like bills, and it's crazy how behind we are.
It's how when. Like, yeah, you probably are way more stressed out than I am. I'm like, so that's like a whole nother ball game. You're like, your stress level probably compared.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't have any, like, there's absolutely, like, this week will be his first check in, like, over 2 months.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we're so behind on bills. You know what I mean? And how do you catch up when okay, fine, he went back to work, but like, how do you catch up now?
Right.
It's like, there's no catching up. Like, hi, we can't afford. No, fuck what? No, fuck them. I'm not giving my tax money to stupid fucking credit card bills. You could screw right off.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna call them and be like, we can't pay you that.
Yeah.
So let me know
That
this is what I can pay you.
Yeah.
Do you want it? Do you not want it?
They will want
I mean,
it.
I'm going to bankrupt your ass. I mean, I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They'll totally want it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to give them like a fucking quarter of what we owe them or something.
Yeah, that always works out really well. Just calling like their creditors because they just want money, you know.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
if it's, like, a little bit.
Because the thing is, they don't want be like, oh shit, they went
'Cause if
bankrupt.
because if they
we get no money now.
yeah, because if they sell that to a collection
Yeah,
company,
yeah.
they just get like such a small fraction,
Right.
So they'll get more by you just settling with them.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it will ding your credit, but
Oh, I mean, we're not wored about that right now.
Right now, yeah.
That's not a thing.
There's
It's not a thing.
priorities. There's levels of worry. That's not one of them. Yeah, totally. I just feel like my stress lately is I'm trying to find a good balance of like trying to slow down a little bit in like life, you know, and still like do
Slow
all the
down
things.
how?
Just like I want to like
How
appreciate
much bread you bake, or what are we talking about here?
I want to appreciate like the everyday things, like all the little things, and I do.
Yeah.
But I want to like really be like in the moment and be present, and I don't want to feel like, you know, when you like get up in the morning and you're like you like take a breath and you're like, okay, I have 700 things to do today.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just it's automatically, and I
Lucky
know
my
it's like part of
phone's on.
how we live, like the homesteading life, and we homeschool, and our kids are in a lot of activities. And I know it's self-inflicting, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still like, I don't know. I'm trying to like reorganize everything on how we do stuff and be like, I want to take like a step back and be like, you know, I don't know, Sherry. I'm just talking. I'm just bullshitting. I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, my neighbor's trying to call me that we just took care of his animals. I wonder what's up. I'll call him back later. Anyways, yeah. I don't like being appreciative of like everyday moments, and like not being appreciative like really sneaks up on you. It's I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? Like, you know, in the moment and stuff, and then you realize that like, oh, like fuck, like I've been around my kids all day, but have I really like talked to them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like,
sure. Like fuck.
and like that's all my life is about right now, right? Like I have like
Babies
and kids, and it's like
you're like, have I looked at you and had a conversation?
like, and okay, for real with Dea, there's no question if I have I had a conversation with you. She follows me around the house, chatting my ear off.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm like,
is like engages you.
she engages me, and I have no other choice but to speak to her, and which is perfectly fine. But I'm almost glad for it. But like Corelli, for example, she doesn't really often engage. Like she does, but is always really quick. Mom, look at this joke. Mom, look at this, and then it's over. And like if I don't talk to anyone, it's probably Corelli. Because like I don't know, she just doesn't engage as much. You know, Legend's young still, you know, so he's always like, Mom, I need this, I need this. But I'm always like, oh shit, like I need to go be like,
have a conversation with my
we're
child.
having a conversation, you know. But that's always the one that sneaks up on me.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, and then it just keeps going, like, you know, because Ronan just turned 12, and I always feel like when they have a birthday, it kind of like you start reflecting and it like hits you, you know?
Yeah.
And you're just like, I was sitting there and I was like, oh fuck, like he's fucking 12. Like how did that even happen?
I know.
Like time, and you know how like the days are long, but the years are short. Like nothing's ever been more real, and that's so like time is so fucking weird. And then just like thinking about it, and so I was talking to him about
time
that.
is weird.
It's weird.
It is weird how it's just, and it's talk about sneaking up on you. You know what I mean? You're
Well,
just like,
like, and
wait,
even like this,
how old are you?
Even these
It's
moments
crazy.
where I'm like thinking when he turns 12, I'm like thinking back to when he was little. I'm like, when he's a teenager, I'm going to be thinking back to when he's this age, you know?
Yes,
Like, just fucking be present. Just stop.
Yeah,
Just stop.
Just
like,
stop. It's
right
okay.
now.
It's okay.
Right now is
Don't
amazing.
think back on the past, because you know what? There's going to be plenty of time that you're going to be able to think back in the past. You know what I mean? Like when they're 18.
Yeah.
For example, right? You'll
Yeah.
be thinking back in the past. Well, that's fine, right? But I don't know. Even then, see, I say that, but I mean, I have a 20-year-old, 18-year-old, and I'm still very much like in the moment with him, in the present, just soaking every bit in that I can with him. You know what I mean? Because like, not that I'm dying tomorrow or anything, but still, I just, like you said, in the moment.
That I love that. I read a quote. I don't know if I said it last time because I'm so like trying to align with it, but it says, don't judge a day on the productivity, but judge a day on how present you are.
Oh, 100%.
And I was like, fucking yes. This is exactly when I tell the kids, because I've said it on here before. Like, the kids will be like, oh, we got a lot done today. It feels really good. Like we were really productive. And I'm always like, don't like just because you're productive just because you're
They're
not
miming
productive
you,
in a day.
though. They're
Exactly.
miming you.
I know, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I want you guys to feel like you can get joy out of a day and just be with each other.
Yeah, right. Because that's important too, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, don't
Probably
don't
more
do that.
important than anything,
So I've been like
obviously.
really trying to like when the kids anytime that which I've always been like that. I don't see. I'm just fucking rambling. I don't even fucking.
Okay,
know.
so all this is like it's the curse of the mom, right?
Yes.
It's just like nothing.
Constant mom guilt.
Constant mom guilt. It's never good enough, and that's another thing both of us should focus on as far as she does that. Both of us should focus on as far as like like it's okay. We don't have to feel guilty. Like we're doing a great job.
Doing a great job. It's not
with their kids every
necessarily,
single
like,
fucking second.
I guess it is guilt. I don't know. I could like literally talk about this for hours and people would be like, we get it. Like we fucking get it. Like just fucking stop doing all the things and do the things you want to. And I keep
Well, that's what it comes down to.
honestly,
it's a
and
very
like such a simple thing,
solution.
but it's like not because then
Yeah.
you're just like by like doing the things I would want to, it would be.
Did our neighbor just stop by and give you that? Okay, so he was
That's why I was
calling.
calling, yeah.
He was calling and tried to FaceTime me and stuff, and I was like, I am in the middle of a podcast. I don't think I want to stop.
I don't think I want to
will call him later. Okay, great. That's very kind.
Anywho.
Did you just pull up to the gate? Sweet. Okay.
Back to fruit trees.
Yeah, back to fruit trees. Glad you got your money.
Yeah, so
I love fruit. Daya does love fruit. See, we are huge fruit fans. Like my kids, Daya, me, like my
so
husband.
I'm not, but
Legend, Corelli, like, oh my God.
If
Probably
it's
not as
fresh
much,
fruit-
but,
fresh fruit is way better.
well, what fruit do you eat?
I mean, like store fruit.
Oh. I thought you meant, I was like, well, yes, fresh fruit. What are you talking about? Freeze dried? What are you talking about here?
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No.
What do I mean?
Of course, yeah. But like, obviously, I don't have all the fruit trees
I know,
at
but,
all.
like-
And even if I did have all the fruit trees, they're not going to give me fruit all year long. So fruit. Organic from the store, great. Grown from a tree,
hungry.
great. Me too. God damn it. I want a mango.
Oh, I saw the fruit guys and I almost stopped and got some and then I was late, so I didn't.
Should've.
know.
I would have forgiven you
Mango.
for being late. I wouldn't care.
Have a bunch
I
of
wouldn't have
mango
gotten one
and
fuck. I would have been
tahini
like,
and-
Shauna, I love you. No, I
Sounded
love
so.
fruit
I know.
cart
We
guy.
almost. I was like, oh, fruit cart guy. I was like, we need to stop and get fruit. And then I picked up the kids, and then I was like, we're running late. We gotta go.
No. I'm gonna call my husband.
I know,
I'm like,
be
how
like,
am I getting fruit? Bring me
find a
home
fruit
mango
cart
and
guy.
watermelon.
Anyways, what's the next tree? Oh, okay. So peach or nectarines.
Mm-hmm.
So nectarines is just a type of peach. If you didn't know, it's basically just an unfuzzy peach. So, anyways, so either
It's basically
one.
just an unfuzzy peach. Really?
Yes,
Because like they
It's-
don't even
yes,
taste the same.
It's the same.
They don't taste the same. I'm telling you, a
It's
nectarine is just
in
more
the peach
something.
family.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
So
cool.
these are less of a zone than the pears. They're just zones 5 through 9. But they can withstand -20.
Which is so cold. What are we?
Which
Where
I was
are
all
you,
like,
peach
that's
tree?
only through zone 9 because like fuck, like that is, I don't like what, like I'm zone 9. It does not get, if it got -20, I would move. Like, there's
Literally.
no fucking way.
It's never been -20.
I know that's what no,
That's not
I don't,
zone 9.
I don't live in negative numbers.
No.
No.
Sounds awful.
They do need more pruning and fertilizing to produce
A good amount.
a good amount.
Yeah.
And so you do have to stay up on that, but it's not like anything crazy. I have nectarines and peaches. And they both like the years that because they've been planted since, so they're 12 years old now. And there's been several years where I just completely do nothing with them because of my brain. I either forget or I don't have time, especially when the kids were itty bitty.
Yeah, it's just low on your priority list.
So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
you exist. I know you exist.
And
you
good luck
for
to you, sir.
existing.
Good luck to you.
But beyond,
May the odds forever be in your favor.
that's exactly it. And they're still there. So
They're still there. They're like,
so,
hi,
yeah.
me. I saw what was that meme? It was like my plants as I give something water. It reminded me of mom, like not watering her plants and her poor plants, like watching her water something else. Or like drinking water herself or something. And they're like,
Oh, I saw that too.
water.
That's totally mom. That's totally mom. I don't know how even like
She brings home plants, and I'm like,
I'm like,
gonna
why?
okay, thank you for this new plant.
thank you
I'm
for
gonna
the
take
plant.
it.
I'm gonna
She's
take
like,
it.
I bought that for me. I'm like, you're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
You're gonna kill it. She's like, I'm not gonna kill it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back in 2 days. If this plant is wilted, I'm gonna take it. And sure enough, I come back, it's wilted. It's all like dying slowly.
You're like, this
dying.
is mine now.
And I'm like, okay, I'm taking the plant, trying to revive it.
She doesn't even notice.
No, she doesn't notice.
That's why she does. That's because she doesn't notice. That's why she doesn't water it. Because she completely
But
forgot
my mom
about
likes
it.
the idea of plants. I'm always like, Mom, just get some artificial plants. You like the greenery. You like the, oh, look, that looks like, it looks alive. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
You know,
that'll
it gives
work.
me the idea of life.
Yeah.
It works, right? Because like you suck the life out of it.
So I, for a really long time, thought that I would kill all indoor plants because of Mom.
That's
Like,
odd.
I thought it was like,
Hereditary?
hereditary. And because I'm a lot like Mom in a lot of ways, so are you. But I mean, obviously, we're both her daughters, so that works out. But but I was just like, because when I was younger, like I would kill indoor, like the plants that I would get.
Younger, what does that mean? Before kids or like a teenager, a child?
Like before kids.
Okay, so you were like in your 20s.
Yeah, and I would
And you just didn't give a fuck. That's all it was.
I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, you like
But,
the idea again.
I like the idea, and I would take it, and I'd
Yeah.
be like, "Oh my god, like you can't drink vodka. Like you should probably have something."
Oh
healthy."
shit! It's dead. Yeah. Yeah, you
Like,
just didn't care.
yeah, and then
like,
when
again, it's all about priority.
When I
right?
had kids and I was like keeping them alive, I was like, I feel like a plant should be easier.
I feel like you're
That's
like,
what always blows my
oh
mind
my
about
God,
Mom.
I can't.
You raised all these kids. You can't keep a fucking plant alive. Like, what's the disconnect here?
I guess because a plant doesn't speak or yell or scream or being like, I'm hungry. Like that's what it is, right? If the plant could scream that, if they could,
we need to invent something.
if they could make a
you put
plant
it in the
that
plant.
screamed, "I'm hungry," like
Yeah.
in Harry Potter, the ones that
Yeah.
scream, you pick them up and they scream.
Mandrakes.
Yeah, that's one. That's what Mom needs. She needs a mandrake. It just screams at her,
Yeah,
and then she would water it or feed it or do something. Yeah,
that's actually a brilliant idea. We should
Yeah.
invent where you just like you put like a little like device in the
soil.
soil.
Yeah.
And then when it is like neat and it like does like an alarm or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure they already have something like that, honestly. We just need to get it for Mom.
Oh, and the soil dries
Mom
out. to a
takes it
certain,
and throws it out the door.
She's like, enough of that
Shut the
shit.
fuck up.
That's right.
Anyway, so there are different varieties of nectarines and peaches, just like anything else. There's different varieties. And so if you are new to the fruit tree game, I would choose a variety that is more disease resistant. It always makes it easier, if something's
For everybody involved,
For everybody.
you and the plant.
And like even if you're not new to it, if you're out to get like a bunch, I don't know. I always I like to go the easier route with that kind of stuff. If I know it's like hardier and stuff like that, that's the one I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Because I know,
Well, yeah,
I know that
I mean,
like
yeah.
especially unless you're like. I only have fruit trees. I have no kids, no animals. I don't have a husband.
Just you and your fruit trees.
You and your fruit trees. Then yes, go get the hardest ones and you can just focus on that. But if you have anything else going on in your life,
Yeah.
it's probably best to help yourself
Yeah,
out.
that sounds awful. I would never want something that difficult.
Where you have to look and be like, oh my God, this fruit tree's sick. Now I have to do
and
this.
now
and
this
that,
it needs
like,
this and it needs this and I have to do this.
constantly-
You're just like, oh my God, shoot me in the head.
Yeah, I'm just like, cut
Be
that
like, you
fucker
either
down.
are gonna live, right? Yank it out by his roots. Gonna live, or you're gonna fucking die. Okay, the choice is yours.
I already planted you.
I will water you sometimes. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Like seriously, here, hit on the next one. I think the next one's fig. So
Yeah. So they like zones 8 through 11. Didn't know that. I have one, and it's doing good. They don't need. This says need little care. Correct. And that, again, that's my kind of plant, people. Yeah, and they do grow pretty quick. And
if you
pretty
wanna-
disease resistant, and it just they're good little trees. Like
they are,
and they get really big, by the way.
they get huge.
Yeah.
The fact that they grow quickly is always like, I like trees that grow fast.
Yeah, ditto. I don't want to
want
wait
them-
10 years
I-
to see you grow.
I want them to be
I'm
big and
impatient.
so am
Grow. I command you to grow.
I've been trying to I've been like, you need to be like less impatient about things. Like take a breath. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking fine. I was like watching
It's
River.
fucking
I
fine.
was watching River today, and we were driving here, and her brother asked for the charger. Was in the front seat. He was in the back seat. Okay, and she's
Yeah.
trying to get it. It's stuck on something. The charger is like stuck.
Yeah.
And it's like infuriating me just watching her like trying to get this thing like unstuck, you know? And she's like, what is it stuck on? I was like, just move the fucking shit out of the way and see what it's stuck on. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just pulling at it like you're a monkey. Like, just look at it, like, you know, figure it out. And then
opposable thumbs.
And she's
use
like,
them.
but the whole time she's like laughing and she's like, oh my God, it goes all the way under the seat. And by now I would have given up, or I'd have ripped the fucker right out and thrown it out the window. Like, that's how impatient I am. And it's like wrapped around a hanger. Why do we have a hanger in the car?
You get that from
Why do we have a hanger in the car under the seat? It's wrapped around like in a knot. Like somebody like tied it to the fucking hanger for some reason. And I'm like sitting there watching her do it, and she's laughing and giggling and just having the best time getting this thing. And I'm like trying to be like, why?
Your eyes are twitching while you're trying to
why
drive.
Why is it bothering me?
Because your dad? That is hysterical.
And so I even told her, I was like, I'm going to be more like you, River. I was like, you're like having the best time untangling this fuck. And she's like, I got it after like 15 minutes. And I was just like, what in the?
You're a psychopath.
Yeah, I was like,
that is so hysterical. That is, you get that totally from Dad, by the way. I could totally see, like you were describing that, but all I saw was Dad, like you know, trying to mess with it and pull it. Like that's all I could see. That's all I could see. That is so funny.
But I'm like, why? Like, why? Like, stop. Just stop. Like, it's fine. Like, it doesn't even involve me.
It doesn't involve you.
It
doesn't need to bother you.
It doesn't need to bother me.
You. Yeah.
Like, why am I letting this bug me? And so I was telling her, I was like, I'm going to try to be more like you. And she's like, yeah, you should.
She's all, yeah, it's a good idea, Mom. Because I'm pretty fucking swell.
But Ronan piped up in the back. He's like, no, I'm like you. I'm super impatient. I was like, I like have such a low patience, and things trigger me that shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I don't
That's good, you know.
But I don't even know why.
Because your dad. He's exactly like that. What do you mean?
And depending on the thing, it's like I have less patience. Like I can't think of an example, but like it'll be like,
well, it's
like my husband, you know? Like if
as a whole.
If I say something,
my husband,
if I say something
as a human,
you know,
yeah.
And he says, "What did you say?" and I repeat it, and then he's like, "What?" and then I lose it.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, fucking done here. Fucking fuck you, fuck your mom, I'm done. He's like, what the fuck?
He's like, oh my God forbid you repeat yourself. I was like, I already repeated myself. I don't want to repeat myself.
So I have had to learn like a lot of patience with Juan because of like, and I know to everyone that is like listening, it sounds like when I say English is a second language, I had to have a lot of patience, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like he like can't speak. He speaks perfectly fluent English, and he can write it. He can fucking read it. But he has an accent still, and some words he doesn't use properly, right?
Right.
Okay, so, or even like statements and sentences, and you're like, how do you survive in this world? I don't know. It's weird.
But no, he's totally, like you said,
no,
he definitely gets by.
Well, obviously, he drives gigantic pieces of machinery. He's getting by perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a conversation we have. He calls me, and he says, hey, did they call the phone? Okay, so like it could send me over the edge, Shauna. Right over the fucking edge. I could just reach to the phone and strangle him. And I've tried to tell him so many times, you have to be specific. No one knows what you're speaking about. No one can read your mind. I can't read your mind. Believe me, if I fucking could, Juan, I fucking would. But I can't. And I'm like, Juan, I don't know what phone you're talking about. And he just says, the phone. And it reminds me of that thing in SpongeBob, the lid. And I was just on the phone like, okay, Sherry, take a deep breath. We're going to internalize.
Self-regulate.
We're going to take a deep breath.
It's going to be
We're
fine.
not going to launch at him through the phone. It's going to cause a fight.
So your arm comes through his cell phone, like squeezes his neck.
Oh my God. So I'm like, okay, fucking calm down. Don't say a word. Just look around. Look around the house. Just look around. It's got to be here. There's a phone someplace. And so I did, and I found a phone in the fruit basket.
You're way nicer than me in that sense.
Well, because I'm also trying to teach my children self-regulation, obviously. I want to set a good example.
It's good.
But though Shauna,
inside was a different story. There's
it's a different story
happening.
Inside. I can't even like.
The juxtaposition was.
Oh my God. I was just like, okay. I found the phone. What do you want me to do with the phone? Who are you wondering if they called the phone? What are you want me to do with the phone? And then he tells me, oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. No, they didn't call. Okay, fuck you, bye. You know, it's just like, oh my God, though. Like, so that kind of shit, like, oh my God, sends me just fucking right over the edge.
Yeah.
And I try. I
But
do
you
a
did
good
a
job.
good job.
I do a very good job.
Good, yeah. I've been trying to with my husband. I've been doing the same thing, trying to like my triggers
Just
that I
like-
know that I
just
have.
like
It's
take a
fine.
deep breath.
Like he
Don't-
can be an idiot. It doesn't mean you have
It
to
doesn't.
freak the fuck out.
It doesn't mean you have to freak the fuck out.
It's fine.
There are idiots.
Like
it's okay.
Yeah, like I'm obviously keeping him, so I'm just gonna have to get over it.
Thank you, and that's basically what I came to with because
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I'm not always that good at self-regulating when Juan speaks and he says dumbass fucking shit, and I just stare at him and I'm like,
It depends on the day. Okay,
that's
It depends.
not.
It was a good
what
day.
you mean? Tell me what you mean. I feel like I'm talking to some 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I
No,
could just
well,
strangle
good job,
him.
Sherry. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've been really good and amazing. Like I've been such an amazing wife, and I feel like I've been so like
You feel like you deserve a reward.
I
or something.
deserve something. And like
Yeah.
my husband's been super good about telling me like how he's like you've been really like I love how much you're listening and like when I talk and I really appreciate you and I know and he's
You're like, do you
and-
notice my eye twitching? Or hopefully that's just
No,
my
and
inner
he's-
dialogue.
And I was like I have been amazing.
Well, that's good.
I
That's
do
awesome.
deserve back rubs every night.
And a foot rub. Thank
yeah.
you.
And he's been like rubbing my back and stuff. I'm like, yes.
Nice. What? That's a fucking great trade-off.
It is a great trade
No,
off.
if Juan was like, I'm going to rub your back every night, I would be
for
like,
being like
I
a
will,
calm and normal person.
I
when
will
talk
be,
to you.
yes. I will look past all of the things you say. I'll look past them all.
No, he's been
What?
appreciative.
Bread.
Oh, did the timer go off?
Well, I have multiple timers on, so I don't know what.
You're such a dork.
And then, Mom, and then you're like, you make so much fun of me on your podcast. You leave it, you make it so easy.
I know, then you come
You
in
make
here.
it so easy.
Oh god.
Okay, so Shauna
just-
makes bread
just,
dough, and she brings it over to the house. We're having we're having friends over with their kids to dye Easter eggs, and she's like, "Here, Mom, here's this bread dough, and you're gonna do this."
I already shaped it. It's just shaped. It's on its second
we're
rise.
gonna set a timer on Alexa. When the timer goes off, put it in the oven. I went to my mom opens the door, and she's like, "Bread," and we're like, "Oh," and Shauna's like, "Oh, well, the timer go off." She's like, "Well, I don't know because I have multiple timers." Like, are you fucking kidding me?
What? So there's a timer that's going off. You have no idea what it's for. Okay. Why don't you just preheat the oven to 400? Put the bread in. It needs to be in like 25, 30 minutes.
And then she complains at us when we make fun of her.
When you take it,
Doing eggs from.
We
She's
love
doing
her.
eggs.
I know.
When
She's
sh-
doing eggs. She's
the bread,
doing
if
lots of
it
things,
tur-
watching the children.
when you turn the bread over, tap it on the bottom. If it has
still
a hollow,
podcasting. I'm still
hollow
trying to
sound.
talk.
When am I supposed to turn the bread over?
When it's done, Mom. When you think it's done.
When am I? Okay.
When you
400.
think it's done. Oh my god. When you think
This is
the
gonna go
bread's
very
done,
badly.
turn it over and tap it, and it should like make a hollow sound. If it doesn't, it needs to be in like 5 more minutes.
400. How many minutes?
25 to 30 minutes. I love you so much.
Why am I responsible for cooking bread?
You're literally just putting it in the oven.
Hollow like your head.
and eggs and cleaning the house.
You're doing a great job, and we appreciate you. We're also today we're dyeing Easter eggs.
I already said it all.
Oh.
When you were like, "Be quiet," I was like, "I'm just trying to. we're still recording." Shauna's all like, "This is how you make the bread, Mom."
She's
I'm
just
sure
putting it in the
everyone
oven.
wants to know.
It's good information to have. It's homesteading related.
So
What's the last one?
our segue back to fruit trees.
Oh, I didn't finish writing my notes.
So the fig trees also are super resistant to disease. Again, they're a pretty fucking easy tree. Like if you want an easy tree, I would say citrus, the pear, or the fig. That would be like my top 3 choices for like easy.
Yes, absolutely. And the figs, I know a lot of people. I don't like eating a fig. Like
Ew,
the
that's
consistent-
gross, and I don't know who does. That's
I know.
disgusting.
My mother-in-law loves figs. She'll be like,
I
"Here,
know.
eat this fig," and I'll be like, "I can't."
Are
I was
you
like,
a psychopath?
She
I don't
loves-
eat figs. It's
eats-
mushy.
It's
It's not meant to be mushy.
but like all the little like bleh on your
And-
tongue.
and
You're
no,
just
no.
like, "Bleh, bleh." No, thank you. Like, what is happening?
Ew.
Ew,
So
Ew.
gross.
But making a fig
Yes,
jam
a spread.
to go with
oh my
like
gosh,
cheese.
I know. Stop, like goat cheese.
Yes.
that is where.
That's why I
I'm
have
there
a fig
for that.
tree. That's why I
Yes.
have one.
Thank you. That's
Okay?
why I have one.
It's not.
I'm not gonna
it's
eat a
not- I'm not
fig
gonna
off
eat a
it though.
fig.
Like I'm gonna make some fucking
On it.
spread. I'm not gonna eat a fig.
We're
yeah.
sophisticated.
No, thank you.
Okay, so the other ones, cherries and plum, and I put these at the bottom of the list because they can be more difficult. There's obviously a plum. There's like so many different varieties, and
Yeah.
then there's like
There's different
sweet
varieties of the cherry, too.
Yeah, and they can be really. I have some plums. They're like the tiny little. Like what are like crab apple plums or whatever, and they're super small, but they're fucking good. And it was there when we moved to the property. I've never done a fucking thing. I did prune it this year because I was all like, maybe you need something, but it always gives fruit every year, like a ton. if the birds don't eat them. The cherry trees, they're also easy. Again, you have to look at like the tag. Do they need a cross pollinator? Most of them do. So,
Get your mother again.
what is happening?
iPhone charger for Abby. She didn't bring one. Her phone's dead.
Okay.
Ask one of my girls. They brought one up. It's probably in their bags, though.
Yeah, we have all of our friends coming over. They come over to dye Easter eggs. So my mom's trying to get ready for everybody.
And we
she's
planned
amazing.
it today because we were like, Shauna's going to be there anyways. But
Well-
it was a really awful idea looking back on it. I mean, I'm glad they're coming. I'm just saying I wish we'd have done it on a different day.
Well, we couldn't though.
We couldn't?
No.
Why?
Like when would we have done it?
Fucking Thursday?
Why is Thursday a better day than Tuesday?
Because we wouldn't be podcasting.
Oh.
What did you think I meant?
I don't know. I thought you meant during the fucking week. Like we shouldn't do it during the week.
podcasting. No,
Oh,
they
I
all
don't
have
know.
off school.
I can't read your fucking mind, Sherry.
Apparently.
Back to fruit trees. Just a couple little things though. So plums and cherries, they can be easy. I would definitely, if you're just getting into it, get a variety that is disease resistant, that doesn't have a lot of pests that will attack it. The thing with cherries, and for a lot of fruit trees, is that the birds will just like when you have fruit on them, you feel like you don't get anything because the birds eat everything. So
Yeah, that's what we feel like with our cherry trees. When they did like give fruit, it was like we got like one.
Yeah, so you can
But,
put like a mesh over them or like
Yes,
a
we need to do that.
muslin. You can do like the little reflectors, like the CDs or whatever.
Wacky wavy arm guys.
Wacky wavy inflatable arm guys.
That's right. We need to
so
get
there's
that.
there's different things you can do to avoid those problems, but they can, depending on the variety, plums and cherries can be easy or they can be difficult. So just be careful of what variety you get. Other than that, I think we've come to the end of this little episode. Thank you guys all
Super
so
fun.
much. Before we go, our shout outs to Lexi and Tegan.
Yes.
There are Patreon members and Maddie. Are we supposed to shout out Maddie? I don't know. We're shouting you out. And Megan and our mom, Tammy. So all those are higher up Patreon members. Thank you guys so much for your support over there.
And if you haven't already, go check out our Patreon. You can just go search Patreon and then search up Porch Talk with Arcana Homesteading. And it's super fun. We have a really, really good time with that one. There's no like information session at all. It's just like us just
it's good if you're like
talking.
Yeah.
Talking all sorts of fun nonsense.
You can feel like you're just there with us, just talking shit.
We laugh
and having
like
a good
throughout
time
the entire time.
So yeah. So check that out if you haven't already. And other than that,
That's right.
We'll talk to y'all next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.